I'd like to reopen the Village of Bronxville Board of Trustees meeting for October 14th, 2025, and ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're going to start tonight. We have a very special guest, our district attorney, Susan Cacase, who very kindly agreed to come and speak to us. Judge, what we do is ask some of our electeds. We had Senator Mayer here last month, and next month, Assemblywoman Paulin is coming, just to give us sort of a state of your job. So we just appreciate that you so willingly said you would come. And just a little background, we're lucky to have you as a village resident. You've been an attorney 30 years, defense attorney, prosecutor, 20 years in the Westchester County judge. So your experience is incredible. So we would just like you to come and just let us know how things are going in White Plains. Yes, please. Thank you.
Well, thank you to the board for having me here tonight. It's a pleasure to be here. I did have a ride, but I could have walked because I live right down the street.
Right.
As the mayor said, I was elected district attorney last November. I took office January 1 of this year. And at the time I came into the office, we normally have around 125, 130 assistant district attorneys. We were 25 short. So we really started early trying to fill the vacancies, which we were able to do. Unfortunately, we periodically get more vacancies pretty much monthly, but we're fortunate to be able to hire people who are qualified, who want to come into the office and be a prosecutor, because from what I've seen, from when I was a prosecutor many, many years ago to today, it's not as seen as a job that people really want to attain. Sometimes they want to be a defense attorney as opposed to a prosecutor. So we're dealing with like a little bit of a shift in worldviews right now. But we're pretty much full to capacity. And by way of background, the district attorney's office has the main office in White Plains. We have several floors in the county courthouse. And then we have 7 district offices: Yonkers, Mount Vernon, New Rochelle, White Plains, Rye, Northern Westchester, and Mount Vernon. And the Mount Vernon branch, for instance, services Bronxville and Eastchester. So the local courts are managed in those 7 district courts, and we have to service 44 separate courts and police departments in Westchester County. And that's what separates the Westchester DA's office from other DA's offices, that we have such a fractured county. We're a county of 1 million people, 44 police departments and courts. So we've been doing well manning the courts. And what I ran on was the importance of different units in the office, specifically the Special Prosecution Unit, which is a unit that tackles sex crimes, crimes against the elderly, against children, and that we've restructured a bit. We've restructured the Trial and Investigations Division in the office. We've separated that. So we're in the process of moving things along and advancing the office. Technology, we have a high-tech technology crime bureau. We're focusing on AI issues. And what's important to me and my administration is that we go out into the community, such as my coming out tonight and speaking to you, every assistant, every investigator, and many of the support staff come out and speak to schools, senior centers, any place where we're invited, community events. We go and talk about the office and what we do. We also educate the elderly on the dangers of scams, educate the students on the dangers of violent crime and guns and drugs. And that's part of what we do. So it's a more modern DA's office where we're prosecuting crimes, holding people accountable, at the same time educating people to prevent crime, and also offering alternatives to incarceration, which is what we're doing today. Bronxville update. We have a great police department here. Uh, I've been around a long time. I know the chief has been around a long time. I worked in the Mount Vernon Bureau when the chief was a sergeant. So we go back a long way, but he's doing a tremendous job here. There is some crime. There has been recently some car thefts around Westchester, even in Bronxville. And what we found across Westchester is 20% of car thefts are because people leave keys in the ignition. So we try to explain to people, lock your cars, don't leave the key fob near a window or a door in the house, because sometimes people will go in, they see the key fob through the window, they'll go in, take the key fob, take the car, and then the car most oftentimes is taken and is not recovered. So that's an issue that's going on in Bronxville and across Westchester. We try to tell people, lock your doors. You know, it's a beautiful community that we live in here, but you have to make it as hard as possible for potential thieves not to come into your house, because people can do that. They can walk by, try a door. If the door is locked, they walk away. Professional thieves, that's different. They'll get in no matter what. They'll cut the alarm lines and get in. But try to make it as difficult for them as possible to prevent crime from happening. The number of LPR readers, license plate readers, and cameras in Bronxville, second to none. We're able to see who comes into the town, who leaves the town. And the LPR readers, you could just see where the cars are going, and that's how people are tracked, and that's how crimes are solved very, very quickly. So I just can't say enough about the Bronxville Police Department. We have a great relationship with the Bronxville Police Department. The office has a great relationship with many of the departments across the county. It's important to me because I try to tell them that we are law enforcement. As DA, I'm the chief law enforcement officer in the county. We need to get along in order to solve crimes, in order to prevent crimes. So that's something that's important to me and that we will continue to work towards. So that, in a nutshell, is the office and me. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
No, I appreciate this. I think just for the public to know, in the past couple of nights, we've had, and our officers have caught every single one of them at about 2 or 3 in the morning. They're fishing in the mailbox in front of our post office, because that mailbox is not one of the latest ones that, and they caught somebody with $200,000 worth of checks, not from Bronx, but they were caught here. So just a warning to our residents.
We tell people, if you want to mail a letter, go into the post office.
Exactly.
Don't go in it, because people know how to get into mailboxes. Also, try to use the ink that is more permanent, because unfortunately criminals are not always stupid. Sometimes they're stupid, but many times they're very smart. They take those checks, they wash them,
Right.
and that's when they put, they sign the checks over to themselves in whatever amount they want. If you have the permanent ink, they can't do that.
That's exactly, I mean, the police chief said if you still bank by checks, if you just brought a Sharpie pen and wrote your checks with a Sharpie, it bleeds into the paper, so they
Right.
can't do anything to it.
Right.
But it just reminded me to warn our residents, not only about the cars and the key fob, but about the mailboxes. So Mr. Palmer reached out to the head of the regional, asking them to change the mailbox in front of our own post office to the most modern one. So,
Right. Good
but,
idea.
yeah. Thank you. Trustees, any questions?
Yeah, question. Well, first of all, thank you for coming.
Yes.
When you began your term, there's a large vacancy. Was that just, what caused that vacancy?
Historically in the office, it's a combination. Historically in the office, people would be lifetime prosecutors. Some of the people I worked with in the early 90s are still there. But as I was mentioning before, it's not really, people aren't looking to be a career prosecutor. They're more enthused and interested in defending people, not necessarily protecting victims. And that's something as a prosecutor that I'm dealing with every day. Also, well, I'm not going to mention the prior administration.
Do you have to make structural changes in the office to kind of combat that, that difference in perception of people who want to be defenders versus prosecutors? I mean, it sounds like a long-term trend.
Yeah, I have made structural changes, not for that reason. There are still some people who are dedicated to prosecution. You have to keep them happy and give them different things, appreciate them, and treat everyone as part of a bigger unit or a family, which we try to do. And hopefully people will stay.
I have one question, which is, does Westchester, either at the county executive office level or your level, have any mechanism for doing it like a periodic mailing or newsletter that would be, for example, the DA's tips and warnings to citizens? I mean, we've done a lot more reach out, just in the last half dozen years to sort of alert residents. My sense is that you can't warn people enough to be alert to certain kinds of scams, or this is the latest scam that we're seeing.
Right.
I mean, do you feel that you have enough reach out tools? If we sort of said, gee, we want our chief and you to sort of put together a page on, these are the things that people in Bronxville should be watching out for. I mean, we could circulate that, but I mean, are you circulating that kind of stuff yourself independently?
I have a bi-monthly newsletter that goes out. It it will include, it's not necessarily about scams, but it does include information about the current scams going on, also what's going on in the office, what's happening in the communities. So that's a bi-weekly email.
Is that something that people can sign up for?
Yes.
Do you want
We
to
should
tell us how we do that?
Sure. It's westchesterda.net. If you go online to the DA's office, you could sign up for the newsletter. And any tips or any comments you have about the newsletter, I'd be happy to hear after you
I think I
read
should
it.
sign up for it first.
Well, you guys have a great Instagram page that you market a lot of your activities on.
And we have Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You do, kudos for that.
Thank you. You could always see what we're doing. You could always see where I am.
Yeah, all over the place.
Well, thank you. We appreciate
Well,
you
thank you-
coming
thank you
tonight,
so much. I
taking the
appreciate
time
it.
and updating us. And our department thinks the same of you, so we have a terrific relationship with
Appreciate
your office. So
Thank
thank
you all for
you.
your service
Thank
to
you.
our
Thank you.
village. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Thank
Have a good
you.
night.
All righty, I think we will go to my report, and it's all really good things. This time of year is everybody in a really good way is having their fundraiser, their charity events. I should tell you, the Eastchester Columbus Day Parade was canceled because of weather. It's going to be the 19th at noon, and our Chamber of Commerce had to cancel their Oktoberfest again because of the weather. Senior citizens had a fabulous fundraiser. They honored the Reformed Church because the Reformed Church has given them space for free for 50 years, and it was a wonderful event. Mr. Palmer and I are meeting with our county legislator, Mr. Nolan, tomorrow to get our requests in the capital budget at the county level, because some villagers actually pay $8.3 million a year in taxes to the county. So we're anxious to see if some of it can come back to us, whether it's flood money, anything we can qualify for. Today, we did have a big breakthrough. We got the county to take down the tree that was growing in the middle of the duck pond, the Bronx River, if you can believe it, those crazy silted islands, which I will never understand why nobody will touch them for us. There was maybe an 8-foot tree that grew in the middle of the river. So they took the tree down, but told us they can't touch the islands. But that was a big breakthrough, and we're working on trying to understand why that pond is not dredged, cleaned up. Mr. Palmer and I also met with the Boulder Ledge Garden Club, huge supporters of the village. And I think they're going to do a nice hydrangea hill over at the Maltby Playground as a donation, which will be beautiful. Our adult school had a great opening. Classes are amazing. Wonderful trips. I'm going on one to Washington Square Park, a literary one. Movie theater, we got to keep supporting. Frankly, remember, it's a nonprofit, just like all our other nonprofits, and it will turn 100 next year, along with Mrs. Morgan's Flower Shop. So we will have two 100-year-old businesses. This coming Friday, the Rotary's having their big benefit. They're honoring Dr. George Eunice. Conservancy had a benefit show Downton Abbey at our movie theater to a packed house. Exchange students from France are coming over here next week. So I'm going to try out my high school French again. And that's really painful for them. But Janssen has a benefit on the 29th at Siwanoy. I will be a part of a veteran celebration at St. Joseph's School. We've made some really nice connections at St. Joe's, thanks to this wonderful history teacher, Marty White. And I think that, and we have our joint dinner. The 5 of us get together and have dinner with the 5 members of the Tuckahoe board. So we sit down and talk about what wonderful volunteers we are. And it's fun to be with our colleagues and collaborate. And that's coming on the 23rd. I just don't want to forget anyone's benefit that I forgot to mention. The party on craft for the movie theater was a huge success, as was our Chamber of Commerce sidewalk sale. They actually got in 2 nice days because they usually have bad luck with weather. And just leave it, remember to shop local, because it's this month, November and December, that they really count on us to shop. And that's my report. Mr. Palmer?
Thank you, Mayor. First and foremost, as the board knows, we have a new team, Elite Racket Solutions. Mary Elise Watts and her team are from Elite Rackets are here tonight. and tell you a little bit about themselves. So, Mary Elise, if you want to introduce Lorenzo and Pablo, and just as some background, Matt Evans had a new opportunity that came up. Everyone really enjoyed his programs that he offered us for tennis and paddle. Started reaching out over the summer, and Mary Elise had reached out to me, and they have a great background, having basically restored solvency over at the Tennis Club of Westchester off of the Bronx River Parkway, and they've also for decades managed the Pleasantville Tennis Club program. And Mary Elise, thank you for coming, and maybe introduce Lorenzo and Pablo, who are also very familiar with the village, having taught at Concordia, the adult school.
Yes, thank you for having us. As Jim said, we are Elite Racket Solutions. We actually just started this grouping in December when the County Tennis Club of Westchester and Scarsdale reached out. I have been running Pleasantville Tennis Club for 15 years. I started as a volunteer. I played there as a child. I grew up in Pleasantville. Moved my family back there. The club was in dire situation. The membership was low, similar to county, and kind of dug right in to try to create that club that I grew up at. So when they called, I had happened to just have had a glass or cup of coffee with Lorenzo. Actually, down here, I came down to do a clinic with him at Concordia. And he said he was looking for something. And when they said, do you have any ideas? I said, I think I might have an idea. And the nicest thing was Lorenzo and Pablo had been talking about trying to find a club or somewhere to bring their incredible talents to. And so when I put them in touch with county, they said, we'd love to do this, but we want Mary Elise involved. So we are a team. And I'm so grateful to them and so grateful to you all for taking a chance on us. We started, it was over the summer. We jumped right in Labor Day weekend. And the first thing we did was we implemented a new reservation system that is much more user-friendly. One of the nice things about it is that we can post clinics and programming on there that permit holders can sign up for right on the site. We ran 2 one-day camps for juniors on the days that they had off from school. We've got clinics, we've got private lessons already started, even though it was a quick turnaround. We're going to be beginning first of 3 paddle clinic sessions starting on November 3rd. So signs, I just put signs up for that over at the courts. Trying to think. Oh, and we also we have another pro that works with us, Juan Scopetta. He is actually teaching at the Bronxville school. We're involved with them. We're doing the paddle. I'm sorry, the pickleball. The pickleball.
Oh,
So we're very excited to be a part of the Bronxville community. Our goal is to create a community through the permit holders and increase more, the permit holders so that we can drive some revenue towards the facilities. So, and then so this is Lorenzo Montegiorgi and Pablo Nadal. Want to say anything?
First of all, I feel very attached to Bronxville because it's been my second home for a long time, since I was a tennis player at Concordia back starting 2014. So, very excited of the opportunity to run the village courts. Taking it from what Marley said, I feel like we had a great feedback from all the people that started working, mainly with one's been our main pro at the Bronxville courts, and he's been actually working with both me and Marilise. I worked with him for 4 years. We ran Pleasantville for 3 years. And after I left Pleasantville, he kept working with Marilise. So very happy about the feedback. Very happy that in short term we built existing customers, new customers came back to play. We're definitely excited to kick off with paddle, which from our understanding wasn't run in the past couple of years. We didn't run any clinics, so we're excited to see what level of response we have. Definitely the adult school partnership has been helping us out, like building new relationship with Victoria. Victoria's been, great, bringing new people in the program. And we hope that from that also people will join us outdoor for the summer. And definitely we see for any clients category a potential of growth in the next year, starting from the beginning of the spring. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Um, I think Lorenzo and Marlies, they say it all, and we're just very happy with the feedback from the people. I started working in Maximum, Concordia back in 2021. So I do have a lot of attachment to the town. Not same as Lorenzo that he did college here, but I know a lot of people in the community. I think it's a great community, and we just look forward for the winter season with paddle, and then going back in the spring with more pickleball outdoors and more tennis. And it's just, we do believe and we have the feeling that it's going to be keep growing. And I think we're just grateful for the opportunity for sure.
Well, thank you. And thank you. You came so highly recommended that we're glad to partner with you. And this is really exciting for all of us. So welcome. And
Thank you.
Can I ask you, how do you do your outreach? I know you have like a list probably of the permit holders, and you have some funneling through the adult school, but how do you really get the word out? Because I feel like I play a lot of tennis, I play a lot of pickle, not in the village courts, and I love to see the channels of how that could maybe be increased because you guys have such great programs that you're planning,
So
to
right
get.
now, it really is, we've been sending communications through Port Reserve, so all of the permit holders really have been the main target so far.
Yeah.
We've done a few Facebook posts on the Bronxville Moms page. So I think it's going to be working this winter to try to figure out more avenues and possibly partnerships with the village and in your own communications to try to get the word out.
Because I think there's a lot of people who would love to be in the programs, but they're not necessarily permit holders now. So
yeah.
somehow getting the excitement out through different channels.
One of the ideas that we had for the winter was to meet the pros, have organize like a night out somewhere here, and then hopefully a lot of people can come in and meet us, and
Nice.
then they will get all the information handed to them, right? That's how we did it with county before the season kick off. So we did a month before, but I think now that we are in this middle of the season going into the winter, that's something we can plan probably for sometime before the holidays in December.
Yeah.
Jim, do we have some kind of link on the village website for people who are interested in tennis or paddle or pickle that will then connect residents to these folks?
Yes.
Yeah, and the link
Under the
connects right to
recreation.
the court reserve that has our information on it.
You guys have an Instagram page?
We don't have an
That's a
Instagram
good-
page
yeah.
yet. No, we definitely need one.
So if a resident is watching this broadcast and they say, oh, there's some great things going on, they should connect through just like going to the village website under
Go to the village website,
recreation.
type in recreation programs.
Right.
Yes.
It'll come up.
Yeah, I'll just say, speaking personally, growing up as a kid, my parents sort of signed me up to do lessons and clinics at the village court, and it was just such a lot of fun. And as I near retirement, I'm looking, to do that stuff. That's probably all I'll say, because I know enough as a trustee to defer all serious racket questions to my colleague Helen Knapp. But for those of us in the remedial program, it's really exciting to have you guys around, and I wish you, every success. If a villager wants to sort of like see one of you in person, is there like a particular time that you're going to be manning the tennis hut? I mean, 5 minutes to the hour in
Well, so
between
now-
clinics or
now is
lessons?
kind of, as we're ending towards the end of the season, and it's getting a little tougher.
Right.
But yeah, no, I think we have to come up with some solutions so that more people can figure out how to contact us. Yeah. Yeah, and the one thing my favorite story about tennis is that my mother is 83 years old and she still plays 5 days a week. So it
Wow.
is a lifetime sport.
Yeah, wow.
I, like Bill, grew up playing at the village tennis courts.
Yeah.
We played every day, all summer. That was what we did.
Yeah, that's all we did. So that's kind of what we want to create.
Great memories.
Is
Yeah.
a real community and almost have it be like a club, you know, within the village program. Like, so it's, you know, it's like a summer club, but it's, you know, by the village. So I think it's a possibility.
And I assume when the season gets started, you'll have means to hook people up who may not have a playing partner, or say, I just moved to the village, I don't know anyone, but you can get that started.
Yes.
Very exciting.
The courts are great.
Yeah, the court, the
The
facilities
courts,
are
yeah,
fantastic.
very, very nice courts for sure.
Well, thank you for coming tonight,
Thank you.
and
Thank you.
we're looking forward. We really are. All right, Mr. Palmer, do you have any announcements or
A
anything?
couple other items, most importantly, in the newsletter, we did highlight that the Crawford Drainage Improvement Project Phase 1 is starting this week. The equipment was actually delivered today. The park will be closed effective tomorrow, and tree removal and tree relocation begins this week. So we encourage residents to go to the website and see the details on the project and the scope of work. But as the board knows, you've been working on this for over 2 years, and in partnership with the town of Eastchester, and the improvements will go a long way to helping out those neighborhoods, reducing flooding on the street, reducing the flooding along Crawford, near the Crawford School, et cetera. So appreciate everyone's patience over the course of the next year, which is what we expect the project will take. And again, details can be found on the village website, details highlighting the channel, the open channel that's to be created through the park, along with the detention area. So just wanted to highlight that.
Jim, what's happening? You just mentioned, is Archer Place going to be closed or remain open?
So Archer, at this point, the chief of police for Eastchester's determined he's going to, that road will stay open for the public's edification. Archer is within the town of Eastchester, so we've been coordinating the project with them. So I think.
And for people who don't know, Archer, from a Bronxville perspective, I think a lot of people think of it as the extension of Duesenberry, which connects
Yes,
Duesenberry
yes.
down to Connell, Simonway area.
So to answer your question, right now it's open, likely to be closed certainly for much of the project, but just not yet. Right now, for these next 2 weeks, and we'll post look-aheads on the website, for everybody. But right now, the focus is going to be on the tree removal and tree location taking place at the northern end of the site.
Taped in any way, or is it posted that nobody can go on that?
So construction fencing has been put around the perimeter. Signage stating that the park is closed it should be attached to it this afternoon, if not tomorrow morning. The silt fencing will go up, so it will be clear that the park's going to be closed.
And it's important, though, that we've really been working with the folks who use that park. So talking to them about tree preservation and plant preservation, because people have put in a lot of work up there, and they're our partners in saving all the good things. And we really are connecting with them, and they understand what we're doing, and have been incredibly supportive, actually.
We got a lot of input from them.
A lot of
Yes,
input.
yes, an extensive number of volunteer gardeners, I guess, not
Yeah.
necessarily associated with one particular group, but volunteer gardeners. And we've walked the site multiple times, and we're absolutely saving the trees that can be saved and relocating the ones that need to come down. So there's been a lot of consultation with them. And then, of course, as the project progresses and as after we relocate trees, those will be highlighted, and what remains will be highlighted on the tree planting landscaping plan, which will allow for additional trees and improvements that we'll share with everyone. So,
Jim, I think you've
yes.
done an amazing job of working with the neighbors.
I do too.
Walking the property multiple times. and emails and calls.
Continuously.
So you have really, I think,
Yeah.
an amazing job of working with the neighbors on this to listen to their concerns and
Thank you.
all of the project when it's possible.
And just to echo everyone's comments, there's going to be a certain point where the construction is going to look at its worst because, things have been stripped out. They're going to be, backhoes, digging out earth. But I think the commitment of everyone who's been involved in the planning process is that, it's going to be better, certainly with respect to that forest area than it was before. And so, residents should be patient. It's going to look like a construction site, I assume, for a while, but, no one has forgotten the objective of the end term, saving trees, as the mayor said, that are going to be part of the long-term plan. And there's going to be a whole landscaping phase that comes in at the end. But thank you again, Jim, for, I don't know how many dozens or hundreds of hours you spent on this, but thank you.
I appreciate it. And that, just to your point, Trustee Fredericks, we will put some pictures up because the plans are not always the easiest piece to read, but it is important that the community understands that while that entire field will be regraded, it will be restored. And if they look at some of the pictures that we'll post on the website, it's much of that area is the water is landlocked, if you will, because of some of the existing stormwater infrastructure that's above grade. And so while there will be a lot of earth movement, it's for the purposes of creating a very slight grade so the water can be carefully channeled, and to allow the park to be more usable. Right now, after a rain event, there's ponding throughout just because of the way it was filled in over time. It's anything but level. And so it'll be a lot of earth moving, but it'll be regraded well to allow for better utilization in the long term. So thank you for that. Only other news I wanted to mention is, I know everyone is anxiously awaiting the use of gas-powered blowers once again, which takes place tomorrow for 2 months. So the use of the gas-powered blowers will be permitted from October 15th to December 15th. And during that time, Thomas and I are going to be retooling outreach for the start of the new year because there is still a lot of use of gas-powered blowers outside of that period. And I think the only thing that's really been successful in prohibiting that or stopping it is the temporary suspension of the landscaper's license and ability to work in the village. By the time one issues a fine and takes into court, it's going to be months down the line, but temporary suspension, which is permitted in the code, and or future revocation of their permit and ability to do landscaping in the village is important. But we do need to emphasize to the residents that at the end of the day, the landscapers are in your employ. And I simply ask that you ask your landscapers if they have the non-combustible equipment to be able to work outside of those designated periods in the village, to please make sure that they do. So that's that. Still paving projects to take place. The village engineer and I have gone through our walkthrough with our paving contractors, so we'll be still doing that in the coming weeks. And otherwise, I think we just put a lot of those reminders in the newsletter that leaf season is here. The DPW has now begun curbside leaf collection, which the village offers. We'll be ramping up with some seasonal employees to assist. But in that regard, we remind everyone, don't put the leaves out in the street. We know you don't want them on your lawn, but please put them at the edge of the curb. Don't put them in the street and certainly not around catch basins. As you know, we purchased the backhaul equipment last year. The DPW has really embraced the clean out of the catch basins, and it's really been successful. They've worked that into their work schedule, and I'm happy to say that they've cleaned all the catch basins in the village at least once. They understand the value of the equipment, the complexity of it, but it's a real positive. So we just ask residents to, again, remind their landscapers to respect that and concerns about flooding and needing every bit of drainage and to not block those waterways. That's it.
And Jim, also to segregate sticks and branches from leaves.
Yes, yes, please remember to bundle and tie up your leaves, or the brush. And fortunately, and as a follow-up to the storm that we just had over the weekend, we did have one small tree that came down the Parkway Road lot near the charging stations, no damage. However, there was a large tree on Midland Avenue, over at 150 Midland Avenue, that came down, a very sizable tree that in turn took two abutting trees down. Fortunately, no property damage that I'm aware of, and amazingly, no electrical wires came down. I suspect that one tree was probably compromised during the construction of that. But thank goodness, to my knowledge, that was.
Thank you. I just want to say our special guests, people who came as guests, you are so welcome to leave. Yes, you are. You are being so gracious.
Sorry
And
about that. Yeah.
I know we're scintillating, but thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I want to talk to the tennis players.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Oh,
That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
okay. Pardon?
Do you want me to give an update on the flu shot?
Oh, yes, that would be yes, right now, that'd be
So
great.
NYP Westchester offered flu shots here at Village Hall last week. The turnout was fantastic with over 320 shots being administered. And that's the highest level since the pandemic. So we felt that was good and they felt good about the program. And we really wanted to thank NYP Westchester for all the work they do on that. And of course, the Community Fund for sponsoring it.
That's right.
And it's really a great free community event to the residents.
If you missed it, they're doing it again in Eastchester?
Yes, Eastchester and Tuckahoe, we were first. Yep.
Oh,
And it's on the Community Fund website.
perfect. And on that note, trustees, did I miss anything else? That's important. Did we miss any other? No. Okay, just wanted to make sure. Thank you, Mary. All right, we need a motion approval of our minutes, executive minutes, work session minutes, and regular meeting minutes of September 8th. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second? All those in favor? Aye. And this was done by our wonderful assistant who is in the middle of planning 2 weddings. 2 daughters got engaged in a row. So
The rains of course.
our prayers are with you. Yes, congratulations. All right, Jim, new business. I think you have the first one. It's just a routine renewal of a intermunicipal agreement.
Yes, this is the 5-year mutual aid agreement with Westchester County, and again, just emphasizing that the village is part of coordinated mutual aid response with our neighboring communities to assist us as needed.
Okay, so do I have a motion to accept that?
So moved.
And a second.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And this is, how often we do this?
Every 5 years.
Every 5 years, yeah.
And I will say the chief always mentions we get such incredible help from Yonkers because they have so many of the bigger, they have the dogs, they have the tactical, and just so everybody knows, Yonkers is incredibly helpful to the village in terms of providing us with those extra departments that we don't have.
They're so close.
Yeah.
They can get here fast.
And then I'm going to give, I think, the next 3 to Trustee Fredericks because he has worked so hard on, it's our collaboration with the Bronxville Historical Conservancy. And he has been our, just really a tireless supporter of the projects that we come up with here, and then Bill has brought them to the Conservancy.
Well, thank you very much, Mayor. The first resolution is to accept a donation from the Bronxville Historical Conservancy in the amount of $120,000 to support Bronxville Village's completion of what I think we've referred to as Phase 2 of the upgrading of our historical street signs in the village. Some years back, there was an initial Phase 1 to repair street signs which were most in need of repair, but there are a lot more that have been identified. Residents, I think, really only need to go to their nearest street corner to see what the really unique and distinctive Bronxville street sign looks like. And the goal of this plan is to basically repair all of the signs or replace them. The mounting brackets, in some cases, we have some poles that are dented or out of alignment, but to really get everything looking spiffy like they did in 1927, I think you found that article, Mayor.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're going to be in the distinctive Bronxville green. Again, Mayor, I think you found, or maybe Ray Gesselbrecht had found an article where the trustees of 98 years ago had rejected doing the street brackets in red and had decided that green was more appropriate. And I think the consensus is that we're going to stick with green, that green has worked going forward. But in any event, I'd like to, with great thanks to the Bronxville Historical Conservancy for a $120,000 donation, with great thanks and appreciation to all of them, move that we accept their donation for the street sign purposes.
All right, and I will second that. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Can I just ask, so have homes been found for all of these 70? Or are there spares for people to identify?
I think that the budget contemplates having around 5 to 10 in reserve because you have to go to a special vendor to make them.
Yeah.
And on the assumption that, over the course of time, they do get dinged up, there will be a contingency. But Jim and I and Steve Shallow did put together a survey where I think we basically, between us, Jim, I think looked at every street corner in the village. And so
Yeah.
At least.
so,
Right. All right, and the next one is for you, Bill.
Did we vote on that one?
We did. I seconded, and then we did vote.
okay.
Yes. So then we go to our right-of-way tree planting program.
I'll try to be succinct because the policy is now up on the village's website. But we've mentioned this before. The village has authorized a contribution of $75,000. The Conservancy has, again, very generously agreed to match that. So we have $150,000 kitty to support the planting of new trees. But I think the bottom line for residents is that we now have a village tree policy so that if you are a homeowner or you're part of a neighborhood and you sort of say, gee, there's this bare spot along our street. There used to be, some beautiful tree along the street. It was in the village right away. You're near to it, had to be chopped down, but there's just, canopy that's missing. There's number one, now a policy and program for people to apply just using their own funds to put in a new tree, subject to certain criteria consistent with the village policy. But the specific resolution to accept the matching contribution, which I think is first on the agenda, is part of a matching funds plan, so that if you're a resident, you sort of say, it would be kind of nice to have a tree, but, I really don't have X thousand dollars to front it myself. This plan is going to offer a subsidy to residents where the village tree fund, with the support of the Conservancy, will basically go in 50-50 on the cost of a tree up to $3,000. So we're trying to promote people to be interested in sort of thinking a little big, planting trees that aren't saplings, but something, like a 3-inch caliper tree that will start making an impact on their street, on their property, in their neighborhood, or adjacent to their property. Planted in the village-owned right-of-way, but again, under terms that we hope are just going to encourage people to think about, maybe there's a way to plant a tree here on the street that works for my property. And I would be very remiss if I didn't thank Thomas Morzello, who's in the back handling the tech, for all the work that he's done on this program as well. But the first order of business, I think, is to accept the
policy.
Conservancy's.
I think it's the policy
You want to do the-
first.
Stop the policy.
So we'll do
Policy.
the policy. It's available on the website. And the only final thing I'll say is the village policy is not a panacea. It is, I think, really for us to do our part with the hope that village residents will look at their own properties, because villagers own a lot more property than the village itself does on right-of-ways. And the village has lost a lot of canopy over the last couple of decades. And, it takes a little bit of vision to plant a tree. I think the Board of Trustees, by adapting this resolution, is going to adapt that vision. But I hope that for the entire community, the next year, 2026, will sort of be the year of the tree in Bronxville. So I'll move the resolution to adapt the right-of-way tree planting program and policy.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. And then finally, it's to accept the matching fund from the Conservancy.
I'll let you move that, Mayor.
All right, I shall move that and thank the Conservancy. They've been incredible partners, and Bill has been a great connect for us. But a huge thank you for their generosity to the program. And I need a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
And I'd also like to thank Trustee Helen Knapp for her contribution
No,
to
I was
this.
just going to thank you, Bill. I was really going to thank you for,
Yeah.
I mean, I was a minor player on this committee, but you really were the guiding light behind getting this vision to actually translate into reality, working through all the terms. I mean, it's a very complicated process when you think of all the legal issues that have to be considered, the types of trees, what were the different responsibilities of the homeowner and the village. So you really, with Thomas's assistance and really your ability to put it all in understandable terms, and plus the Green Committee.
Yeah, Ellen Edwards and Jack Beerworth and Peggy Conway, in particular from the Conservancy, who are sort of part of the ad hoc tree committee. But there's a lot for all of us to do as a community going forward, but hopefully this will be a start. Thank you.
Perfect.
And Thomas not only worked on it with you all, but he also worked on the website. And so I would take time to go look at the website, and it goes through in great detail, policy and the trees, and a lot of work into it.
Yeah, and finally, I will volunteer Thomas as the person to call with residents' questions. People can pigeonhole me as well, but again, thank you, Thomas. Great work.
And Thomas is Thomas Morzello. He's our Assistant Village Administrator, and you're doing a terrific job. Thank you. And our last resolution, Mr. Palmer, again, this is sort of perfunctory.
Yep, every 2 years. This is just a resolution to approve utilizing the services of BPAS Actual and Pension Services out of Syracuse, New York, to allow us to comply with the Government and Accounting Standards Board requirements for documenting and quantifying our post-employment benefits for employees, principally the health insurance. This is going to be a full year actuarial evaluation. We've been using their services in the past. They do this analysis for many of the other communities in Westchester. And again, just for the public's edification, the village does need to quantify, have a professional firm quantify and complete the analysis of those benefits we offer employees in retirement.
I'll move it.
I'll second it. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Trustees, before I open it to the public, anything we forgot before our next meeting?
Did you mention Halloween?
No, see? I'm still remembered as the mayor who canceled Halloween.
Yeah, that's why I just wanted to make sure that you didn't forget to mention
Maybe,
this year.
maybe there was something
Be a good makeup
Freudian
for that,
there. Yeah. Oh, the parade at school is on the 24th, on Friday, the 24th at 4:15. Meet at the flagpole. And this year, thanks to our staff, we're going to have trick or treating here after school on actual Halloween on Friday, the 31st, and come into Village Hall and we'll give you candy and a 10-cent tour. And we hope people in the village come by. Yeah. And oh, the other wonderful thing I'm forgetting, the little parade goes through the business district and the merchants all buy candy and the kids go in and out of the stores. So thanks to our chamber and thanks to all the merchants who pay for the candy. Thank you. See? All right, anyone in the audience who would like to talk on any subject, if you would just keep it, if you can, to 3 minutes and just give us your name and address on any topic. Yes, hi.
So, hi. Good evening, both mayor and the board. My name is Victoria Dallendorfer. I'm a resident, One Below Circle here in Bronxville. So I want to just say that I'm in favor of moving the village elections from March to November, and that is going to be on the ballot this coming November. So it just makes common sense. And most of our local communities surrounding Bronxville has already made this modernization and moved to November elections. Last November, residents of the village of Pelham Manor voted yes to move the elections to November. Thank you. That's okay. And I should also mention that this year, Pleasantville has the same issue on their ballot to move their local village elections to November. And also, it just not give us access to the county's early voting access process. My son used it today. He's in school in DC. He was able to get an absentee ballot and voted from DC. And it also simplifies when the residents here in the village is asked to go to the polls. And also, I'm sure in a village like Bronxville, the people that lives here are capable to have both local, national, as well as state and county level issues on the same ballot. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, village trustees. I'm Andrew Langhoff of 83 Summit Avenue. It's a pleasure to be here. Actually, it's a privilege to be here. I have cherished the few times I've had the opportunity to speak to you in this setting because participating in government, having one's voice heard, having a vote is what this village, is what our democracy, is what our Pledge of Allegiance we did earlier is really all about. So it's easy for me to support the idea that our village should have a chance to vote on the question of when local elections are held. And it comforts me that we have a formal process, however cumbersome, to allow that to happen. And likewise, it's easy for me to support the idea that we should move our local elections to a date that maximizes the number of voters who will participate. And I believe we can all agree a move to November will do that. As a taxpayer, the fact that the change in dates will save us money is, of course, a welcome dividend, but it's ultimately beside the point. Increasing participation in local democracy is what this is about. Now, that's a big statement, and in many ways, we could view this question of exactly when we vote as a trivial matter. But I'm coming to learn that protecting democracy, ensuring our right to be heard, to vote, and related issues of law and due process is a matter of protecting each and every aspect of the democratic process, and voting is at the heart of that process. I'll close by saying that no matter how you have voted or will vote on this issue, we thank each and every one of you for your tireless service to this village government. You are participatory democracy in action, and we appreciate every minute and every hour that you are undertaking it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Anyone else want to talk on any subject?
Good evening, Madam Mayor and trustees, Mr. Palmer, and I believe our town council. I want to thank you very much for everything that you do with regard to running the town. My name's Chip Spear. I live on 43 Park Avenue, and I'm here to emphasize, as my colleagues have done, about the referendum on moving the election from spring to the fall. I understand that there are issues on both sides. Prior to moving to Bronxville about 8 or 9 years ago, I lived in a town that had spring elections for about 200 years. It was one of only 5 towns in Connecticut that still had spring elections. There was a lot of discussions about that, and it was decided to bring that to a vote in town. Issues were debated, they were publicized, people argued about them, they looked into them, and they ultimately voted to move the elections to November. The town money, people to the polls, more people were going to participate in the decision-making of the town as far as who was going to represent them on the various boards and commissions. And that change has been beneficial to the town. I think that we should really try to emphasize getting people to the polls as much as possible, and moving this election process for the town to the fall will be most beneficial to do that. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone have? Yes, sir. Hi, how are you?
Hi, good evening. Nice to see everybody. David Wiley, 47 Sagamore Road. It's nice to see you again. Some folks may recall that while there was a large group of people involved and with signatures that it has led to this issue being on the ballot on November 4th, I was the submitter of the petition, and I met with you. I spoke back in July. Maybe first thing I really want to say is I very much appreciate how the village worked with us on processing that petition. Back at that board meeting in July, a resolution was passed to review the petition and to process it in accordance with law. I want to thank Mr. Palmer and Mr. Stout for your work and for the cooperation and the high level of communications through that process, which was very much appreciated. And so now we have a proposition on the ballot on November 4th. And my friends this evening, which I actually know before this evening, so I've made some new friends this evening, which is fabulous, have spoken about the benefits of November elections. I'm not going to repeat that because the points have already been made very comprehensively and very eloquently. Maybe what I would say is share a little bit of those of us that are really motivated by this issue. We're working to convince our friends, our neighbours, fellow residents to vote yes in November. what our vision is for what Bronxville elections will look like if we make that move to November. And that vision really changes. Nothing changes in terms of the tone or the approach to our elections. Elections will continue to be contested in Bronxville on village issues. Nobody within Bronxville has appetite for the introduction of national issues that have got no bearing on village government and the power and authority of village government to play in to our local government. We want all candidates to continue to treat each other with courtesy and respect. This village has got a very strong community bond. It's something that I love about living here. Everybody is extremely motivated that that will continue. As other villages in Westchester have thought about making this change to November, one of the things that's often said in opposition is that November elections may become more contentious. We just don't see that as being an issue here in Bronxville. We're 100% confident that the Bronxville voter is better than that. The vast majority of people in this village love how we all rub along. People in Bronxville are able to differentiate between village politics, state politics, national politics, and other issues. And we're really confident that that's how things will continue as they are today. But what is change? Well, we think, in fact, data from other villages will show that a lot more people will participate, a lot more people will vote, and therefore a lot more people throughout the village will engage with local government, which we think can only be a positive thing. Now, it may mean that those seeking office in the village will have to seek the support from a greater number of people. But it also means that those people that are successful, as you have all been successful, will therefore have the support of a greater number of people and the engagement of a greater number of people in the village. And therefore, we think this change is really good for everybody. We see this as being a common sense change for Bronxville. We'd love to invite all of the trustees to support it and to offer public support for a yes vote. But thank you very much for your time and for the opportunity to speak this evening.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Anyone else? Yes.
I've lived here my whole life,
You-
and so has my dad. And I just want to say that I am very opposed to moving the election and deciding that in November. Just want to say that. I think it's okay to have more time and decide that together with other people's input. And I also want to say that it's incorrect, sorry. It's incorrect, like that it's not going to change anything. There are a lot of changes that absolutely come along with it. And I personally would like to kind of know how we would work through those before it's brought to a vote. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Would you like to speak on anything? No? Okay. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't leaving you out. You're welcome. All right. I think that takes care of all our business. We will be back here on November 10th at 7 p.m. And I just need a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
And a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? See everyone in November.
That was very, very kind.
Oh, well, you deserve it.